Genesis with two big title matches, that being Yo and Sho re-teaming once again as Yo has come back from injury versus El Desperado and Yoshinobu Kanemaru for the Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Championships, as well as the first official title defense of the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship held by Kota Ibushi against Will Ospreay. I thought we had a pretty fun show. There was some matches on there that were kind of, they were there. I think the undercard for the most part was not the strongest, and some of the matches are just kind of continuing on some storylines, and maybe they'll play out. Well, they are going to be playing out later. So, I mean, it does set up stuff. They just weren't overly exciting at the time. So it is what it is. So before we get into the show, you are watching or listening to That's Wrestling. We're going to be covering New Japan Sakura Genesis. And so you're watching the That's Wrestling podcast. If you're watching this, great. If you are listening to this as a podcast, to do this show live over on YouTube and on Twitch, so you can follow the links down in the show notes for those. And if you follow on Twitch or on YouTube, it will let you know when we go live, so you can join us for that. Any comments, questions, feedback, you can send those to eric@thatswrestling.com. Link to our Discord is in there as well, and drop by your favorite podcast app of choice to drop us a review. It really helps out. And tonight I am going solo because everybody is moving. Trey, who is the normal New Japan correspondent, he is in the process of moving to a new house. Caleb, who is the normal AEW correspondent, he is moving again, and I think he just closed on a house, so maybe he will be back next week for AEW. We'll have to see. I haven't talked to him for a couple days, but we will see there. Hopefully Trey will be back also in the next week or so. So I'm going it alone. So thanks to those who decided to tune in over on Twitch and on YouTube. Stay chatty, and maybe we can add some more interaction into this show, and it's not just me yakking for however long. It's probably not going to be the longest of podcasts, because for the most part, not a ton to report on, except for the final two matches. So let's get into this. We're talking Sakura Genesis and Ryogoku. We start off the night with Zack Sabre Jr., Taichi, and Douki versus Tonga, Tonga Loa, and Jado. Davis says that this show was up and down for him. Yeah, I mean, the last two matches were up, so that was a plus for me, at least. So we start off with that tag match. It was pretty much a 50-50 affair. There was some fighting over the iron fingers or the iron glove. Zack ends up pinning Tonga Loa with the European clutch. Post-match, there's some fighting over the gloves, and the gloves end up with the New Japan Pro Wrestling chairman, and he leaves with them. It is later revealed we are going to be having a tag match over the iron gloves with Taichi, and I believe Tonga Loa. I could be wrong. I will have to look that up. I just know there is going to be a ladder match for the iron gloves. So the second ever the second ever ladder match in New Japan is going to be over the iron gloves. So this is going to be an interesting one. So we'll see how that turns out, and I'm not sure on which day that is going to happen. I think it's on the 20. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's at one of the May shows. I'll have to check. If somebody knows, drop it in. But yes, it's one of the guys from God. I have the April schedule right in front of me, but it's not on the two big April shows. So if you happen to find it, let me know. Also, the next matchup, we had a Bullet Club faction against a Chaos faction. Basically, the entire factions. Evil, Kenta, Taiji, Ishimori, Dick Togo, Yujiro Takahashi versus Kazuchika Okada, Yoshi-Hashi, Tomohiro Ishii, Hirooki Goto, and Toru Yano. This was... there was a pretty good job done by Chris here. They made a joke about when they were stomping on Togo. He said those are a lot of dick kicks, or kicks in the dick. In the end, Yano dick kicks Evil and Dick Togo and puts a hood over Togo's head so he is in the dark and rolls him up for the victory. Again, it was a match. It was there, and really the only thing that comes out of this is Yano will be defending his KOPW 2021 provisional title against Evil, and that is going to be happening at on April 28th. So that is where that is going to kind of play out into. Next up, we have the Great Okan, Jeff Cobb, and a mystery partner against Shingo Takagi, Sanada, Tetsuya Naito. And that mystery partner is Toa Hanare, though he is now Aaron Hanare. I mean, Toa sounds a bit better than Aaron Hanare, and I actually probably should have looked up. I'm not sure if that's his real name or not, but anyways, it is now Aaron Hanare. They brawl to start it off. Hanare's in the ring, and he beats up pretty much everyone. He's got this vicious streak going on. Cobb shows off his strength against Naito. Shingo and Cobb strike each other a ton. Hanare continues his vicious offense. He hits a blue thunderbomb on Sanada for a 2 count. We have a breakdown where everybody gets their stuff in. Jeff Cobb hits Tour of the Islands, and then Hanare hits a Death Valley driver, and he is the one to get the pinfall victory over Sanada here. And post-match, the Empire beat down LIJ some more. They then lay out Naito, and Great Okan whacks Naito's knee with a chair a bunch of times, which I believe sets up a match between Great Okan and Naito coming up at one of the bigger shows in the near future. So that's kind of where that one plays out. The Iron Fingers match I just found is against Tanga at the show Wrestling Dantaku on May 3rd, and I'm guessing, is it on May 4th where we have the special match, which I guess we don't. So I'm not sure when that match is going to happen with Great Okan and Naito at the moment, but that is what's going to be coming up. The fourth match of the evening was Bad Luck Fale and Jay White versus Hiroshi Tanahashi and Satoshi Kojima. This is the feud that's been going on for quite some time between Tanahashi and White. White continues to make fun of Tanahashi's physique. They do some pose-offs at the beginning, and I'm guessing this is just going to continue until we finally get Jay White versus Tanahashi for the Never Openweight Championship. The heat is on Kojima for a good hunk of the match. I'm going to call this not a hot tag from Tanahashi, kind of a lukewarm tag. But he does end up hitting the flying forearm and a somersault senton onto Jay White for a 2 count. White attacks the knee of Tanahashi. Tanahashi comes back with some dragon screws. Then Fale tags in and ends up and gets finished with a lariat from Kojima and then high fly flow from Tanahashi. And that is all she wrote on that match. Post-match, though, Jay White came in to try to attack Tanahashi. Tanahashi puts him in the Texas Cloverleaf, and White starts tapping out. After the match, Tanahashi grabs the mic and says he accepts Jay White's challenge. He just tapped out to the Texas Cloverleaf, or as he now calls it, the JTO, the J taps out. So I'm not sure when that match is going to be happening yet either. I'm assuming it's going to be happening relatively soon, so we can finally get that out of the way. So there's Wrestling Dontaku. Let me check the shows on the 28th and 29th. Nope on the 28th. And nope on the 29th. So not sure on the date on that one yet either. But it will be coming up. So we'll be seeing that match. Next up, we have the co-main event of the evening, and this is one of the matches that I've been looking forward to. It's great to see that Yo has come back from injury after tearing his ACL at the New Japan Cup back in 2020. I believe it was at the New Japan Cup. I could be wrong about that. Time all squishes together at this point. So Yo and Sho, so Roppongi 3K, back at it once again versus El Desperado and Yoshinobu Kanemaru for the IWGP Heavyweight or Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Championships. Yo is the one who starts it off with Desperado. Good amount of feeling out work here. Feeling out some mat work, exchanging of holds. Sho and Yo work over Desperado a bit until Desperado starts attacking Yo's knee. This is going to be played throughout the rest of the match. Story of the match is attacking Yo's knee, making sure it holds up. Yo's not even wearing actually a brace or anything that I noticed on his knee, so whatever rehab he's done and whatever healing he's done, it seems like his knee is kind of back to 100%. He doesn't even need like a knee brace to prevent like side to side motion, so that is a positive. So Desperado works over the knee, works a numero dos. Sho breaks it up and then gets the tag in. Sho works Desperado with some kicks and some power moves. Desperado and Kanemaru fight Yo and Sho on the outside. They get the heat on Sho for a while. Yo gets a tag, fights off both guys, fights with Kanemaru for a bit. Yo flips out of a suplex attempt and ends up jamming his repaired knee, and then Desperado hits the knee with hits a knee breaker. Kanemaru hits a drop kick to the knee, puts on a figure four. Sho tries to break it up, but Desperado pulls him out of the ring, and Kanemaru keeps the figure four on. Yo fights to the ropes, and Kanemaru hits a deep impact. Sho breaks up the pin. They fight back and forth. Sho and Desperado fight in the ring. While neither are legal, we move to a quadruple down. Sho and Yo fight with Kanemaru and Desperado. Fight with Kanemaru, and then Desperado breaks up a 3K attempt, but then in the end, he ends up eating one himself. Kanemaru hits Yo with a superplex for a 2 count. Sho and Yo hit a strong X. Desperado has to break up the pin there, and then Yo picks up Kanemaru, hits a double underhook twisting brainbuster, which I guess they are calling the direct drive, which is his new finisher, and ends up getting the victory. So Roppongi 3K, Sho and Yo are once again the junior tag team champions. Yo and Desperado exchange some words post-match. Doesn't seem hostile, but it ends up leading to what we later find out is going to be a junior heavyweight singles championship match with Yo versus El Desperado for the championship. And I believe that is going to be at one of the Wrestling Dontaku shows. But I'm not sure which one. I believe it is on May 4th. Yes, on May 4th, it will be El Desperado taking on Yo, and El Desperado in his first defense of the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship. So this should be an interesting one to see how that goes down. And then we move on to the main event of the evening, and this is Will Ospreay challenging Kota Ibushi for the first time. The IWGP World Heavyweight Championship is on the line. I wrote there was no second for Ospreay. Well, it ended up being not at the entrance. The rest of the Empire did come down once the match started and stood on the outside, but they never actually got involved. They stayed to themselves. They just stayed at ringside, and that was about it. Ospreay heavily has tape on his shoulder. They actually start off with some mat work, different than I thought they would start off this match, but they started off kind of slow with some feeling out, some mat work. They fight on the outside, introduce each other to the barricade. Ospreay backdrops Ibushi onto the top of the barricade. He hits the knee drop to the back of the head with Kota Ibushi draped over the apron. Ospreay works Kota's neck. Kota hits a standing moonsault for a 2, cradle suplex for a 2. Ibushi ends up eating a drop kick while in the Tree of Woe. Ospreay hits a Pip Pip Cheerio for a 2 count. Ospreay hits Kota, or lifts Kota out, upside down, but Kota knees Ospreay right in the nose, and this being Ospreay's broken nose. So I probably didn't feel very good. Kota looks like he wants to hit a Kamigoye, but Ospreay just darts himself forward and headbutts Ibushi right in the gut. They throw some forearms while they're on their knees and work their way to standing. Ospreay hits a few boots to the head and some Kawada kicks. And then we get zombie Ibushi, but Ospreay knocks the zombie right out of him with a forearm and hits a reverse Bloody Sunday for a 2 count. So Kota Ibushi's zombie Ibushi did not go anywhere in this match. Ospreay goes to the top. Ibushi follows. Ibushi falls onto the top rope, and Ospreay hits a shooting star press with a hung up Kota Ibushi, and then immediately hits another shooting star press, but he only gets a 2 count. Ospreay pulls off the elbow pad. Ibushi tries to catch Ospreay out of a flip, but he couldn't hold him. I'm not sure if this was a botch or what. He tried to get him back up again, but still couldn't. I'm not sure what was going on here. It was kind of weird, but they just kind of moved on. Ibushi goes for a poison rana off the top rope. Ospreay lands on his feet. Ospreay lifts Ibushi into a fireman's carry. Ibushi positions himself and ends up hitting a poison rana in the middle of the ring. Ibushi ends up hitting the outside in German suplex off the second rope. Ospreay landed so high up on his back and neck. It looked brutal. That's kind of the one spot in this match where it looked like one of the guys was going to kill himself there. But Ibushi only gets the 2 count. Ibushi wanted Bomaye, but Ospreay ends up hitting a Spanish fly in the middle. Ibushi blocks an Os cutter, but can't block a second attempt and ends up eating one. Ospreay gets a 2 count there. Ospreay drops Ibushi with a Chelsea grin. Ibushi hits a standing Kamigoye and then a regular Kamigoye. Ospreay kicks out at 2. Kicks from Ospreay, a crazy flying knee from Ospreay, and then a move that he has not pulled out for quite some time since his shoulder injury. He hits the hidden blade, and then Ospreay hits the Stormbreaker, and Will Ospreay gets the victory and is the new IWGP World Heavyweight Champion. I thought this match was really fun. I thought it was a really good match. The beginning was a little slow, but then it picked up later on. There's a few spots in here that are kind of starting to drive me a little bonkers. Is Ibushi hitting... Basically, at this point, Ibushi can't put anybody away with the Kamigoye, and I think they need to remedy that. I mean, this is not just exclusive to New Japan, but it happens a lot in New Japan, where guys are not winning with some of their signature like finishers and moves. Like Shingo Takagi never wins with Made in Japan, and now Ibushi never wins with a Kamigoye until he hits him with like two of them and then pulls his knee pad down to hit him without the knee pad. It's just some of these moves that they should be finishers, but they never finish matches. And now it's gotten so predictable that this isn't the end of the match. It's hard to bite on some of these finishes, which I think they really need to kind of start working without doing 800 false finishes and hitting a zillion finishes that are never finishers anymore. They're just big moves and they don't go anywhere. And that's kind of a shame. I think they need to kind of clean that up, and it would help with the believability, I think, to finish some matches with signature moves. Like I said, with the Made in Japan from Shingo, he never wins with that move. So it's like, I don't even care anymore when he hits it, because he's not going to beat Okada or whoever he hits with that move. So unless it's like a young lion, sometimes a young lion will lay down for one of them, but now it's just a move. It's just one of those things. It's like, okay, that should be a finisher, and some matches should end with that, so we can bite on these false finishes when people do kick out of them. But since they always kick out of them, the move is just a move at this point. But good match, fun match, and we have a new World Heavyweight Champion in Will Ospreay. So this is going to be an interesting year. He is the first British IWGP World or Heavyweight Champion, whatever you want to call him. So that is a big feather in his cap. Really, only a couple people have ever even challenged for the heavyweight belt from Britain. I can only think of William Regal at one point, and I think there's one more, but I'm totally spacing on who it is. Oh, Zack Sabre Jr. has challenged for it once. Those are the only other two I can think of. I think there might be one more, but Will Ospreay is the first British-born to hold the IWGP Heavyweight Championship. Post-match, the rest of the Empire gets into the ring, and Jeff Cobb just goes over to Kota Ibushi, picks him up, and hits Tour of the Island. Will Ospreay is just beside himself watching it happen. He's laughing about it. He's having a good time. Ospreay yells a few times that God is dead. God is dead. And finally on the mic, he says he wants to get Kota Ibushi out of here. Look at him. He can barely stand. Look at me, a mere man. I did that to God. And he says he heard all of his life that the little British boy couldn't be a wrestler, couldn't make it big in Japan, couldn't win the best of the Super Juniors, and I did that twice, couldn't be IWGP World Heavyweight Champion, and now I am. I know I've done some bad things, and I'd like to take this time to apologize to no one. But this story isn't over. It's not completed. And then he says he needs to make things right for what happened at Wrestle Kingdom, and he calls out Kazuchika Okada. Okada comes out, gets in the ring, grabs the mic, hypes the crowd up by tapping on the mic a few times, and right when he's starting to bring it to his mouth to say something, Shingo slides in, grabs the mic, and he says Ospreay is getting ahead of himself, and whether you're the king or not, you want to avenge a loss to Okada, but no one remembers that. What people remember is that Okada lost to Shingo in the first round of the New Japan Cup. And does that give Okada the right to challenge for the title? If Okada gets a shot, I should as well. And before Okada, so Shingo challenges Ospreay. He says he's going to beat Ospreay for the title, and then Okada can have the first shot at him. And Shingo drops the mic and walks away. Okada picks up the mic, still doesn't say anything, just hands it to Ospreay. And then Ospreay says, "First Shingo, and then I'm coming for you," referring to Okada. And then Okada and Shingo take their leave. Great Okan closes it out, saying that now that some pain in the asses are gone, it's time for the Empire, and everyone, whether they're servants or peasants of the Empire, should all bow down to the King, the World Heavyweight Champion. This is the true power of the United Empire, and that is the end of the show. A little bit of a problem here with Shingo challenging Ospreay for the title, saying that he has more of a right to a title shot than Okada does, where Will Ospreay and Shingo saying nobody remembers that Will Ospreay lost to Okada, which is stupid because I remember, and two, everybody remembers that Shingo, you just lost to Will Ospreay a week ago in the New Japan Cup, in the finals of the New Japan Cup. So why would you be first in line to get a title shot at Will Ospreay when you lost to Will Ospreay? Obviously, Shingo beating or knocking Okada out of the first round of the New Japan Cup. I think both of them are out of line for getting title shots. Though the problem is, I don't know who should be in line. Usually they build stuff up with if somebody has a win over the champion in a non-title match, that person usually gets a title match at some point. That happens in like the G1 and whatnot. But at Wrestle Kingdom, neither guys were champions. Okada beat Will Ospreay at Wrestle Kingdom, but then Shingo beat Okada at the New Japan Cup, but then Will Ospreay beat Shingo at the New Japan Cup. So I don't really know. It's kind of lost in the shuffle at this point. There's like no clear line of challengers, and that is a little bit of a problem with New Japan at this time. I don't know who really should be in line for title shots. I assume Kota Ibushi should get a rematch at some point. But even then, I mean, he wasn't a champion for very long. I think he only had like 2 or 3 championship defenses since winning it at Wrestle Kingdom. So, I mean, I don't know. It is what it is. So it is set up that it's going to be Will Ospreay versus Shingo Takagi, and that is going to happen at Wrestling Dontaku on May 4th. So that match is happening, and then also on May 4th is the junior heavyweight championship against Yo and El Desperado. And that is kind of as far as they have scheduled out as far as the lineup goes, except the winner of Shingo and Will Ospreay will face Kazuchika Okada for the championship at Wrestle Grand Slam in the Tokyo Dome on May 29th. So that is when that match is going to happen. So we have some pretty big shows coming up here, but really nothing big until, let's see, the first kind of big match is going to be in Kagoshima on April 28th. So we'll probably be back after the 28th and 29th is when we're going to have a couple bigger shows. So that is Evil versus Toru Yano for the provisional KOPW title, and then Yo and Sho will face Kanemaru and El Desperado in a rematch for the tag titles. Then, like I said, on the 29th, there are just some special matches. There are no like serious matches that I see on here. I mean, we're gonna have Naito and Shingo versus Will Ospreay and Great-O-Khan. And then we're going to have Kota Ibushi and Tanahashi versus Aaron Hanare and Jeff Cobb. Those are kind of like the two big matches, but I wouldn't even put them as being big matches on the 28th. I mean, they're there. Wrestling Dantaku on May 3rd is we have a special match, Zack Sabre Jr. versus Tonga Loa in a singles, and then Taichi and Tama Tonga in the ladder match. And then we're finally going to have Tanahashi and Jay White for the Never Openweight Championship. That is on May 3rd. So looks like we have April 28th and 29th, and then the following week, May 3rd and 4th, are kind of the next big shows in the New Japan lineup. So that is where we stand right now with New Japan. So we can take a little bit of a respite through the rest of this month going into the end of the month, and then we'll be back, and I'm sure Trey, hopefully, I'm not sure, but Trey should be back with us, so I'll have my regular co-host with me, and he's been watching New Japan for way longer than I have and he can offer us our insights as well. So for those of you who have hung out in the live show, thanks for joining us. If you're listening to this as a podcast, head over to the YouTube channel or Twitch channel and follow us there. We do these shows live, so it'll let you know as soon as we go live if you subscribe to those channels. If you're watching this as a repeat on YouTube or something like that, you can find this as a podcast on all your favorite podcast apps as well, so you can subscribe over there. So until next time, thank you everybody for watching That's Wrestling. I will see you next time. See you later, guys.